What's a palaver? I feel like when people are doing those they've never been on stage before. Is this thing working? Are we live? Are we live?
Yeah, well,
We're live.
hello.
Hello, hello. I like how your mic is just whoa, jeez.
Hi,
I
guys.
I got that full blast.
Oh, you get my notifications
Yes.
now.
Okay. And I need to I think my audio is now everyone's like, hello, is your audio on?
I figured I'd just leave it. I don't know. I didn't have a clever title. Hi everyone. We're frazzled this morning,
Yes.
and it's because Reha isn't here.
It's her fault.
Reha's not feeling well. We hope she feels better soon. And it is spiraled JJ and I into a hell that we cannot escape from. So
Yeah. And we're trying to figure out how to use the mic, and now I think everyone can hear me now and didn't hear us previously. And we also decided, hey, this will be a perfect day to try
even
something
that
new.
Monster the Mink, Last of the Mates, Zamo, Matt.
Yeah, so now at least
Okay.
you won't get a lag in the background when KP's talking, so it doesn't look like a bad Chinese movie. You can see her live now. So yes, we're a bit
but it means
frazzled.
that you're gonna have to deal with me talking to my chat because you're gonna hear it no matter
Yeah, I'm
what.
gonna-
Unless can you mute that so you're not getting my notifications?
No, it's okay because you know what? We're doing the charity drive thing anyway. So if
true.
someone donates, we're gonna get 2 dancing otters happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, welcome. Today we are going to be covering manatees, but I did want to devote a little bit of the beginning of the show on the success that we had over the weekend with KP's stream and the donations to Monterey Bay. I understand they even replied to you on Twitter. So
Yeah, they did, and I didn't even realize they have like 200,000 followers on
Yes.
Twitter.
I think
Which is pretty nuts.
I think the $5,556 something dollars like is something to notice. They're like, oh, this was one weekend.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think if it had only been like a few $100s or something, but yeah, no, we're a force to be reckoned with. man.
Absolutely. And we have
So no, it was absolutely amazing, and yeah, everybody did amazing. So the charity is still open. So you can
Yes.
see that we're still running the things. Do not feel obligated to donate. We're just keeping it open until World Oceans Day, right? Is that what it is?
That's
JJ,
tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow's
Okay,
World Oceans
tomorrow.
Day. And
So
obviously
tomorrow at midnight it'll close.
it'll
but-
close. And if anyone donates now, it would be fun to see if the notification pops up on both our pages and you're going to get this massive whistle and a dancing otter.
I'm sure it will, but yeah, the donation is still live because I did get several people messaging me saying, "Oh my gosh, I missed it. I really wanted to
Yes.
donate," and I'm like, "You still can
Absolutely.
up until tomorrow evening."
I was running my own stream yesterday and I got about 2 donations versus your gazillions. That was such a nice thing.
I did a lot. We there was
12
a lot of
hours.
planning and a lot of a lot of advertising that went into that whole thing, but.
Yeah, on both of the sides.
No, it was amazing. Yesterday, I seriously did almost nothing. I think like my Fitbit was like, "Are you still alive, ma'am? Ma'am?" Like, it was like, how can a human being take less than 25 steps in a day? Like that was me
Because
yesterday.
it's like, listen, I only got up to eat and poop. That's it. It's like the rest
Yeah,
of it. It's
seriously.
like, but it was amazing, and you did the full 12 hours of the stream.
That's how I don't understand how people are doing like these 24-hour streams because
yeah.
I was exhausted.
I can imagine.
So.
But you know,
But it was I had so much fun though. Like
Yes.
I had so much fun. So
and I'm gonna stay up and go with the 12 hours. Sleeping on my chair. I was like, no, I was watching it, but I just couldn't go through it. Welcome everyone to the chat. So I just wanted to give a quick breakdown of how this amazing the world has changed. We mentioned this last week about how there's so many ways people can support. And
Yeah.
it's always been the notion, and it's even been echoed in some of the organizations, and sometimes a little bit on the Discord channels we were on, that you have to be part of an organization, you have to be a volunteer, you have to be part of an official challenge to do a fundraiser. But with things like Tilify, which was completely legit, everyday streamers, because as much as KP is part of Anaqua and you did this as a streamer, you did this as a normal individual, you set up a Tilify campaign. And look,
I'm not a part of Monterey Bay, obviously. So yeah, and we'll find a way to donate to people, no matter if
we always find a way
how it works out. But yeah, I mean, it's so that's how how I'm choosing to contribute, and some people are blessed with a bunch of money that they feel like they can contribute, which is amazing. And some people just have time, and so any way that people can give is super important. Even the people who just came to my chat and just hung out, some people hung out all day long,
and that is a form of support.
It is, because what happened was Twitch basically said, hey, this stream is popping off, and so we were getting people coming in there because we had a lot of traffic on the stream, and so that just having people here made it so that that Twitch brought more people in. Those people donated. People we met randomly were just tossing $10-15 into the pot, and they don't even know anything. They don't even care about sea otters, and they were just drawn in by the awesome crowd. So,
and I think you even mentioned someone who just came in, donated a huge amount, and left.
Yeah, that seemed like it was the account was called Pay It Forward. And so I feel like they just are I feel like they might just do that. That just is kind of their thing. Go on to Twitch and find charities and
to donate,
which is super cool. And they didn't even pop into chat or anything. They obviously didn't want any kind of recognition or anything. And
they were paying it forward.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty amazing. I'm glad you guys are getting some messages about people enjoying their lock screen and their computer backgrounds, which was super fun. And also some people who just joined us for the charity stream are coming back in, Hamid and stuff. So that's super exciting.
Now you get education. Yeah. But it's an amazing thing, and this is why we say, even when you support channels like ours, that we are mostly dedicated to animals and things like that. I transform my entire YouTube from being just gaming to just otters and mammals. Just being here is a great support, because you enable us to do what we do and support. Whether it's donating to which I'm so happy we're covering manatees today, because obviously, as some people know, on my merch store, automatically donates. It's a process. I don't have to touch it. I don't have to see it. Automatically donates to the Manatee Club, which is one of the biggest in the United States. I see it everywhere. Save the Manatee. Save the Manatee Initiative. That's what I donate to. The sea potato.
Well, at least that makes one of us that's excited about talking about manatees. Yeah. I know almost nothing about manatees, you guys. I love that Nat Mason, thank you for the $10 donation. I'm not sure if it's from your side, or did you get double whistles?
Yes, I got double otters. Yay, thank you, someone. That was so awesome. Welcome, Indian.
Yeah,
welcome.
I know almost nothing about manatees, so I've been trying to brush up. I've been learning as much as I can. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll be learning together. That might be what we end up doing here.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing I've noticed, maybe this is a question that's not necessarily manatee related, but it is a manatee fact. One of the oddest things I've learned about manatees is that they're actually related to elephants. Land something mammal. And I'm normally we hear about the walrus, like your past video that you just did, walruses or about Wally. Walruses are related to seals. They've formed that same family. And here we get this animal in the water, a sea potato, related to elephants. Is that something very common or rare in marine mammals, where they're related to some land animal, not historically like now?
Yeah, I think that the genetics of these things is so it's so complex. I think that a lot of people be very, very surprised at, because for instance, the rock hyrax. I don't know if you've heard of this animal, and I'm gonna get way off of the thing here, but it's it's this little rodent-looking creature, and its closest relative is a elephant, which
Oh,
just makes absolutely no sense. It literally looks like a little like chinchilla.
yeah, this relates to an
Um,
elephant.
yeah, and its closest relative is an elephant. So, I mean, like, genetics are so bizarre. I mean, and we talk about it as it pertains to like dolphins and things like that, and so yeah, I mean, I guess even though it seems like those two things are pretty far removed, I mean, when you're even land animals are hundreds and thousands and even millions of years apart in like the evolutionary process, right?
Mm.
So even like just because one decided to go to the water like doesn't make it more distance, even though they end up developing really strange adaptations,
Yes.
like you could be, you know you'd probably be surprised at like how much DNA we share or don't share with like certain species of other animals too. So it's one of those things where like yeah, I mean, I think it's just as common that ocean animals share relatives with land animals as it is. It's really just it just kind of looks different because you're like, oh my gosh, they're two completely different habitats,
Yes.
but really, they can adapt to just about anything. So
To be perfectly honest, it sounds like as if elephants are cornering the market on like we're going to be related to everything. That's just you won't believe. Like I never knew about that rock thing. Now, so here's me being surprised about a manatee, and you telling me about rats or
yeah,
rodents.
it's not an actual rat.
Yeah.
It is a rock hyrax that looks like a rat, but is very closely related to an elephant. Yeah, it's very bizarre. So, I mean, evolution is so cool. I took a lot of
Yes.
courses on it in university, and I really, really love it. Very interesting stuff. But it's like, it's a rabbit hole to fall into.
Yeah, for someone who wanted to be a paleontologist when he was younger, learning about evolution was one of the greatest things, and it's still happening now. I mean, people think that it's something we don't see, but something I read a few days ago. I know we're going off the tangent here, but the raccoon has actually grown its brain to perceive depth perception in cars when they're crossing the road. And I was like, what?
Oh.
So now they know. But our vermin monkeys know how to do it too. They'll actually wait until the cars drive past. But literally, raccoons have evolved their brains to cross the road. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And listen, this wasn't one YouTube video with that voice that sounds like this, the flat earther voice. This was a lot of sources I Googled and they said, yep, this has happened with raccoons. And I'm like, wow, evolution gone berserk. But
That's super interesting.
look at, there we go. See, now we can see KP was what, that's a manatee. Look at all the peaceful, look at him. Look at him just
Oh my
spinning.
god, he looks like he's having the best time.
Yes, and he has a relation. I don't know what that fish is called, but they have a relationship with some fish that the fish
Help
cleans
clean
it.
the. Hey, look, a manatee fart. Did you guys see the manatee
Yes,
fart?
I did. Reverse it. Clip it, someone. I even blurred my video.
We'll go. We'll
Oh
go
my,
back. We'll go
oh
back.
my gosh, he did a fart spin. Come on, Manatee, we're doing a stream here. We're doing a live
They
AMA.
are very gassy animals,
Oh,
I
no.
guess, because they eat a lot of plant material, and
Yes,
that can happen, as you know.
yes. And he's like,
Here he
he's
goes.
trying
Here he
to.
goes. You ready?
Yeah,
You ready?
Ah.
Toot.
That was a long one.
Yeah.
That was an 18 gunship gun right there.
So funny.
Oh gosh, that was longer than the whale we saw the last time.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah, that was so funny.
never a dull moment. Look at the baby potato. Okay, so here's the first question that we can dabble in together. Is the majority of manatees in aquariums in North America West Indies manatees, or are there any Floridan and Amazonian ones as well? So I'm guessing they're talking about the three. Someone did their research, okay? Yes, there's three kinds of
No
manatees.
kidding. I know that there are three kinds of manatees. Whether or not certain
Yeah.
types are more prevalent in certain facilities, I am not sure. And I mean, I'm guessing that the Amazonian manatee is not common in facilities,
Yes.
would be my guess. Let's see. Let me do a quick little search.
I would
But
assume in US it would be mostly Floridan manatees have they
That's
rescued? I
kind of
mean,
what I would assume too, because a lot of the facilities that have these guys um, are in Florida.
and
Florida has a
yes,
um, huge population of that. So that would be my guess.
or West Indies, because that would
Um,
be closer. But I spotted a speck. I think it's not North American, it's North African. Is it? I don't know. Listen, I have done so much YouTubing this month and week. Um, the three types of manatee, because others, yeah.
it's there's Amazonian. The one that lives close to Africa is actually the dugong, right? It's not
Oh
actually a
yes, you
manatee.
mentioned that the last time, which blew my mind. Um,
Yeah.
oh yes, the three
Um,
types: the West African manatee, the West Indian manatee, and the Amazonian manatee. So they said North American manatee, but here it's West Indian, West African,
okay.
and Amazonian. So yeah, which one would
Okay,
be
so
in the aquariums?
The West Indian. That's
Yes,
why, because I wanted to say
Caribbean.
West Indian, and that's really the same as the one that's like living off the coast of Florida,
Yes,
right? Is that what that's kind of implying? Okay.
yes, I think so because I think that's the question that was
This is going to be a group learning session,
absolutely.
so
But I wanted to because
welcome.
it is a
If you have
very
information, let us know.
please yeah share it. I love manatees. And yet also sometimes you don't need to know about something to love it. That's how we all start in relationships, and then we get to know about the person afterwards, and we're like, oh no. So you chew when
Um,
you make noises when you chew. Great.
And anybody just joining us, don't be confused. We are still supporting Monterey
Yes.
Bay Aquarium. We're going to be supporting them until June 8th. So even though we're not talking about sea otters, uh, this is the cutest little live feed.
It
That
is.
is still what we're supporting, and you still can donate through the links that we have. So.
Yes. And to my chat, I know sometimes you donate via super chat. Please today, rather please use the link. You can type it out yourself. Donate MBA, or Tessa, my lovely moderator that is helping out always, will drop a link for you. And as you can see, we both get it. So this all goes to KP's campaign as she started on Tiltify. It's all connected. So no matter where you donate, it's going to pop up for both of us. And maybe we can get KP another tweet from Monterey Bay. How are we doing on
Um,
donations so far? Are we almost at
we are
6,000?
very, very close. We're about 175 away,
Yes.
185 away. So somebody Meljandrelu in my chat is saying that the like the North American manatee, that West Indian manatee, can be
Yes.
kind of further divided into the Florida and then the
Yeah.
like Caribbean kind of category. So that makes sense.
Oh, maybe someone else would know. Because
Rhino, I turned off wine refill. We don't do wine refills before.
Yeah, can you imagine? Listen, and I got one more thing to say about manatees. It's like, is that moss on their back? What is that?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always
So
drawn.
they are very slow. It kind of like how sloths grow algae
Oh yes.
in their fur. Manatees can grow like moss. It's not really like moss, but it's like algae and stuff like
Yes.
that growing on their backs. So this one is adorable.
It
Look at those
is.
little arms. They're so
I know, it's like-
strong looking.
It's like all the
Silly little
cuteness
nugget.
of an animal. I like it as like it has a bit of otter, has a bit of walrus, has a bit of seal, and then this giant paddle at the back. And the fish don't
I
even
am-
care.
I am not still eating peanut butter.
No. Oh,
Everybody's
gosh.
asking if I'm gonna eat peanut butter anymore. I'm done with peanut butter.
Listen, today's
No.
reward is that you get to, if you special my side, you get to see two otters dancing at once, and my ears end up being obliterated by the whistle and the ding. It's like, do manatees have predators?
So not really. They don't really have any natural predators necessarily. But one thing that you'll notice is a theme as we are watching these manatees swim by here is they all have a lot of scars on them. I don't know
Yes.
if you guys have seen that, and they're all very very evenly spaced, very regular scars, and that is because they're from the propellers of boats. So, human interference and interactions is the primary cause of decline of the manatees. So ship strikes is a very, very big one. Thanks for the follow, historical narwhal. I like that name.
Narwhal, nice.
But ship strikes, boat strikes is a big one, but also habitat loss. So
Oh, of course.
Just people moving in and decimating the habitat of these guys is also a really big problem for them. These guys have to eat enormous amounts of food, and they tend to eat things like plants, like they can freshwater, lettuce, and like I think it's called water lettuce. There's like floating hyacinth, a number of other things that they eat, and they have to eat between 10 to 15% of their body weight of it. So if they're not able to find that kind of food because humans have interfered with their habitat, then that is also a big problem for them. And even like 10 to 15% of their body weight is like just to maintain like a normal manatee level. Like pregnant and nursing moms have to eat a lot more, and so that's part of the problem that you get into with these things is like, even though the manatees might not be necessarily like dying off, if they're unable to find enough food to breed, then it doesn't really matter. Their bodies will not let them like have do you call it calves in manatees?
Yes, I think it is. Because like cows.
Yeah. So if their bodies tell them that it's not a good time, then their bodies won't let them get pregnant. So.
Oh wow! And how long?
Yes, and also Monster the Mink was mentioning also the red tide has been a problem, which is thought to be closely linked to human activities, global warming, and a variety of other issues. Red tide is a big problem for them for sure.
Okay, well, it seems everything is related to humans. It's just humans. Yeah. That seems to be I mean,
and that was 10 to 15% of their body weight daily, and these are large animals.
And you actually just earlier on. Yeah. One of the manatees had swum past, and you could actually see the two major big scars on the side.
Yeah, we'll see them again for sure.
There's actually one very popular. I forget which name of the springs. It's like Manatees springs. Don't quote me on the name, but it's literally, you can see it's the same manatee because he has a very, very long white scar, and you can actually see along the scar where the blades actually got him, and it's so sad to see, but they seem to be so resilient in the way. But they're just basically so friendly.
Yeah, well, and they're so slow.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look at this. This is not a creature built for speed. Yeah. But you can actually see the boat. You can see the color marks on this guy too. But yeah, I mean, they're very slow. They're also frequenting very shallow areas. And they sometimes are even feeding off of things that are at the surface, so that makes them of a particular risk to boat strikes because of where they sit in the water column, how slow they are.
Even his fin over there.
I mean, and some of this may not be from like boat strikes. We can't say like 100% certain, but certainly. Most of those, I mean, those scars on their backs are.
You
can
see the neatness by it, because even on his flipper, it was like this perfect square. It's like, what else has this perfect square shape? So it's like, shaman. But look at it. I was just like, I'm gonna eat the camera.
It looks like an old man. Like, just like is this thing on? How do I take it? Like trying to like film his like grandchildren, but instead he just ends up filming his own face.
Are you there? Are you there? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
This is Zoom calls with the grandparents.
Hello. Dad, move back, Granddad, move back. Well, I don't know. This thing is on.
Yeah, they do have a little bit of hair. Is that a butt or an eye? Somebody asked. That is an eye.
That is an eye, yes.
They do have a little bit of hair, but not a lot. But you can kind of see they've got whiskers, like a little mustache too, which helps them to find and forage for food. And yeah, their eyes are tiny, and the reason being that the waters that they live in, you can see, are generally pretty murky. And so there's just not a good reason to have extra good vision. Like, you're just a slow herbivore. You're just like head on the ground, like just munching anything that comes by. So there's not any real reason to have like really excellent vision. So
It's amazing how nature has decided, okay, they're so slow, you're not going to have predators, it's fine. Except those unhairy human things, you'll be totally fine. How long can they actually breathe underwater without actually going to the surface?
yeah, so they do need to breathe air, but they don't really hold their breath for that long. I don't know, what, like 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, something like that.
I think it was 5 to 10 minutes if they're actually moving.
Okay.
Oh yes, and that was that weird fact. 5 to 10 minutes if they're actually moving, but if they're resting underwater, it's longer, like up 15 to 20 minutes. They can. Apparently, when you stop moving, you're not using energy. I know what that's like.
And that's pretty. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty common with a lot of marine mammals. I mean, same with like seals and sea lions too. They'll be, if they're very active, they need to breathe much more frequently than if they're like, if harbor seals are asleep, they can sleep underwater and they can hold their breath for like 30 minutes.
Because they're not actually active.
Yeah, they're not really doing this.
This is not.
So funny.
There's a nostrils like, this is what I breathe through. There's a granddad mouth. Hello?
Hello?
I've noticed their teeth are like completely flat. So they like 100% herbivores.
Yes. Yeah, and so they are 100% herbivores, and kind of like the teeth of a horse and some of those other animals, their teeth actually grow throughout their lives. So they're just constantly grinding them down, because just like they're very similar to a horse in a lot of ways. Even their digestion, I was reading about it. They have like they do the fermentation process in like the cecum, which is like the back area of the stomach, just like horses do. And look at all the sleeping sea potatoes.
Oh, see, there they go. Look at all the potatoes underwater. You know when you wash your potatoes and you leave it in the water? There we go. And they're like so chill. There's so many.
So cute.
Oh my gosh.
So they're constantly grinding those teeth. They have those teeth are basically being like replaced on a fairly regular basis because they are using them so much. When you think of, that's the problem with being an herbivore. There's a lot of manatee tooting going on.
Yes, there is. They've had their lunch and breakfast, so.
Because it's like unfortunately, like plant material is very sort of low in, I don't want to say like nutrients, but it's just very hard to get the calories to sustain such a large body. And that's why animals like cows and horses, and they eat so all day long, because there's some more tooting.
Jeez.
They are just little fart machines.
I know, manatees. Imagine being above
rename the stream to like manatees farting. Yeah. That's what we're watching today.
The tooting manatee.
Yeah. So yeah, they have to eat so much of it in order to basically get the proper nutrients. So, how can you tell the difference between moving and not moving? Yeah, well, this is a good example, because this would be moving even though it's not moving very fast. But this is definitely not moving,
and it's not.
They're just all farting up a storm.
I know.
Look at
that. Jeez.
It's
on
so
schedule,
funny.
By the way. It proves that you need fiber and vegetables to stay regular, because they're all doing it all the time.
Yeah, what? And it is like we're talking about. It does go along with the digestion, because they do the fermentation process, which is something that horses do as well. And so obviously that's a very gassy process.
Jeez, thank goodness all that floats to the top. Like there are seagulls above that like but they're like all fine.
Gross.
Oh my gosh. We started the stream and the live stream at the right moment. So today we're going to be streaming at this time, and it's around about the time where all the manatees are tooting.
Yeah.
And all the beddings.
I think it worth noting, I'm pretty sure this is just a highlight. I'm pretty sure all this stuff is kind of just highlights, but still super cute.
This is great for the podcast. There is never a stream that we have done or AMA that it hasn't turned out to be talking about tooting or the animal. It's natural, but the animals are doing it. It's not us people. As you can see, it's not always us. They're they're offering a bubble show.
Everybody toots.
Yeah.
Oh, something scared them.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
something happened to my fry.
Scary.
It's like I don't
Anyway,
have to be
we're gonna just we're never gonna
Yeah, let's move on.
get through this.
So, speaking about the food, how strong is their bite? Or do they have a strong bite?
Oh,
I'm assuming.
yeah, I mean they've got strong jaws, but they're not known for like biting. It's not to say like if you like jammed your hand into their mouth that they couldn't necessarily bite you. I'm sure that they
Just
could,
like a
but
horse, yeah.
it would be very hard to get. It's kind of like getting bit by a walrus is not an easy thing to have happen. Like they are just, their mouths are on the bottom too, and they can't really like, they can't open their mouths like a dog or anything like that can. They don't have like, so it's almost like, you know, like rays, how it's like more of like a suction kind of thing. That's kind of how their mouths look. So it's not really super possible to get bit by them. I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's not very likely that you would get bit by them. I mean, I still wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't stick any of my limbs in their mouths and hope for the best.
Yes.
And they're very, very strong. Like, even though they are very, very slow, they are extremely strong. And they can do bursts of speed of up to like 20 miles per hour. But like, you do not want to get hit by this paddle of a tail, right? So there are they could potentially be a dangerous animal, and I know like when they do rescues and stuff like that, sometimes it is not all that easy. Lizzie Lulu, thank you for the $20 for Monterey Bay.
Oh, it's a show on my side. We get this row of otters dancing.
Yeah, that's okay, Mini Mama, you're here now. Yeah, so I know I've seen like rescues with these guys, and it can be pretty intense because they are very, very strong, and you have to be very careful.
But they are, if I was correct, one of the friendliest in terms of human relations. One of the friendliest creatures in the wild. After the
I mean,
the caribou or something like that.
Yeah, they're definitely not prone to like aggression or anything like that, and they're pretty chill. So if you are thanks for the follow, if you're like, people do go swimming with them and stuff, and again, even though like they're friendly, I never ever recommend this, because you just can't be sure of the type of stress that you're causing on the animal. So like, for instance, these are the cutest damn things. Look at this one. This one looks like a grizzled old man. Oh my god, yes, look at it. Completely covered in moss.
He's old.
He's coming to give us a quest. He's coming to give us a quest.
So, weary traveler.
Yeah, exactly.
You are on an adventure. He's really got that face like, what is this? What is this thing in front of here? Oh, spinnies!
So yes, but so like because you just never know, like if you go and hop in the water with these animals, how much are you disrupting them? These are animals that have to forage for food for 7 hours a day, and if you're interrupting that process, you are causing stress on the animal that could potentially, you know, result in bad things later in life. So I just like keeping your distance and watching these animals from like live cams. Great,
yes, absolutely,
way to do it. Or like, you know, just from a distance is I think really amazing. Of course, if you get approached by an animal, it's a little bit you know, slightly different, but I just like, you know, it's you just never know what's going on for them. Or if you jump in the pool or in the water and you're with a mother and her calves, like, do you think that she really likes that? Like, probably not. And even though she might not be causing any danger to you, what kind of stress is that causing to her? So, so even though, yes, they are perceived as being very friendly, people do swim with them all the time. Actually, I think there's laws against it, though. I'm pretty sure you're not really, like, allowed to.
Apparently in Florida, there's rules.
Well, there's not... Is there? Okay, I was like, Florida doesn't have a lot of rules, so like...
You know, they just write random rules, like, you can't do this, and this is one rule, like...
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so I don't want to ever like encourage people to do that. In fact, I very much discourage it. But I do, encourage watching them, and they can be very interesting animals to watch from a distance.
There is some nice YouTube videos of natural interactions where it's not, because I absolutely agree, and that's with anything. Swimming with animals,
Yeah.
if it's not something that is obviously properly supervised, or it's something that the animals are not used to, it's never a good idea. But there are some wonderful things of manatees actually coming up to a human to investigate them, and then be like, cool, you're cool.
There are.
Scritches
It's worth
and swim
noting
away.
too.
But
There are also facilities. There's lots of facilities that have manatees, and you can, pay
Interact.
for an interaction, and go learn about them, and go swim with them in a controlled setting. And I do approve of those in general. It depends a little bit on the facility, but for the most part, those controlled interactions are,
it's
trained animals
supervised,
that
it's
are
properly, yeah.
yeah, and the trained animals are very very used to people, and and these animals are often being fed, so there's no like
Yes.
nutritional stress or anything like that involved. So those are options for you as well.
And it's a bit of this double-edged sword. Yes, you are always, no matter, as we've mentioned, no matter where you go in the world, no matter what it is, you're going to get some bad organizations, but the good ones, it's a form of education. It's really important. It's like, if you go to the proper channels, I think it's such an amazing form of education especially for the young ones. Experience these sea potatoes. Look at them. I mean, my gosh.
Just sleeping, just
Just
sleep.
sleeping. So the next question here, like, ooh, what are the main differences between the types of manatees besides location? I don't
No.
Location?
Gosh. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see if the Google knows. Yeah, I don't honestly, guys, I am not extremely well versed in manatees, like I was saying earlier. So I did know that there were different types. Oh yes, West African. So I mean, obviously, yeah, location, that's going to be a big one.
That's a big one, yeah.
I'm honestly not entirely sure. I mean, I'm sure there's like some,
yeah.
I'm sure there's some slight morphological differences. But I honestly don't know.
But in any cases with these type of animals like the southern sea otters and seals, is it mostly the differences comes down basically to size? Is that the most common one? Because
Well, yeah, I mean, in general, the further towards the poles that you go, the larger the animals. So like there's something about colder weather that makes it easier, like larger animals have an easier time staying warm in colder weather. So for
Okay.
instance, like a bald eagle in Florida is like a fraction of the size of a bald eagle in Alaska. And that's the same species.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's okay.
So I imagine that's pretty much the difference that we're getting in like
Yeah.
in the sea otters at least, is that the southern sea otters, Linda Perky,
Linda!
$20.
We're almost there.
We're close. That is probably explains a lot of the difference between southern and northern sea otters. But yeah, but it's hard with these animals because these animals
Yeah.
all live right around the pole. So I'm not really sure that, or right around, not the pole, right around the equator is what I meant to say. So, so I'm not really sure.
There wouldn't be much more difference.
Right.
Because I'm seeing here
Homebrew. Thank you.
that, take for example, the West Indian manatee and the West African manatee. It would still be West Indies. West Indian. Oh, so West Indian and what? Is that near India? Because then technically they're in the same ocean. Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
it's, the West Indies is like that's like the Florida Gulf region.
they say West Indian and then they say Gulf of Mexico and Central. Like, people, come on. We so far ahead. We know that they're not Indians. We're still on that path. It's like West Indies. Like, make it correct so we know. But they're similar in size, except apparently in the West Indies manatee they have a blunter snout. But the picture looks almost identical. So just look at their noses, and apparently they have a blunter snout. Interesting. Something for our chat to help.
Yeah.
Post pictures on
Yeah.
our Discords if you find different pictures of manatees. Let us know.
Well, yeah, but Monster the Mink, it's actually the opposite, which is what's confusing to me. Because in my head, I would imagine, yeah, smaller animals would be better in the colder weather because there's less surface area for heat loss. But it's actually the opposite. Larger animals do better in the colder weather. So I don't know exactly what the dynamic is. It might just be because they have like bigger circulatory systems for the surface area. I'm not really sure. I could look into it, but I do know that like animals like bald eagles and stuff like that are much larger as they get.
Isn't that with humans too?
Oh, larger shapes have less surface area. Yeah. And less for the heart and the size that they are.
Yes.
It's less surface area, like in a ratio. Math.
Yes, I'm sure that's with humans as well. Like the smaller human. Well, I know this from my business partner. I mean, we call ourselves Cow and Chicken because my business partner is like massive. He's like almost 7 foot, and he doesn't suffer with the cold. Me, little small me, I'm like, I go to like, have you got a jacket? And it's not a fat thing. He's just bigger. He's just a big person, and he seems to handle the cold. I wonder if that's something again. Spilling into human lives, but yeah, apparently the snout is slightly different.
It's literally just a like well, my chat's all over it.
Yes.
It's called the square cube law. So it's literally just a surface area to volume like ratio. It's like just a thing. So it's not just like a species wide thing. It is just like larger humans are gonna have an easier time of staying warm than smaller humans.
And you were spot on, by the way, where you mentioned that because they're all by the equator, they're relatively all the same size. So
okay, there we go.
Okay, so we're ending part.
I can usually make a pretty good guess.
Yes.
At a lot of things.
So well, you've got the education and you've got the experience with it, so it's actually spilling over. Oh, check shame. He's got big scars. Yeah. No, flip around this way. Yeah. Shame. So again, new thing that we will be revealing soon, but just for manatees, we are ending part 1 of the stream. So we've got part 1 of the questions. So that's been a great time that we've had part 1. Now we're going to move over to part 2. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You will join us now in part 2.
And yes, Krista, people are asking, we are still running the charity. We're going to run it through till the end of tomorrow evening, because tomorrow is World Oceans Day. So we thought that would work out. Plus, we are awfully close to $6,000, which I think would be really cool. So which would be double entirely of my goal. So it is still possible to donate if you would like up until tomorrow evening. And if you have people that you think that might want to donate, send them in, and that would be awesome as well.
I remember thinking like 1,000 was high, and then it was 3,000, and now we're on 6,000.
I know.
It's amazing. So we're back for part 2.
Cool.
We should actually do proper intermissions, yeah.
Oh, and yes, for you guys, so there were rewards associated with those streams. Obviously, if you haven't gotten your otter paw backgrounds, if you donated $50 or more, you just message Reha through the Discord. There is also a pinned sheet in. Do you remember which category it's in, JJ? It's in.
No.
Is it AMA updates?
Yes, it was AMA. It was an AMA. I remember it was something AMA. It was definitely an AMA, and it was pinned.
Okay, I don't see it there. Anyway, we'll find it. There is a questionnaire sheet to be filled out for the otter themed birthday party that we're gonna be the themed otter party, I guess is a better way of saying that. So you guys can vote on a theme for an otter party, and I will. Right now we're just submitting our suggestions, and then we'll kind of go through those, and we will then vote on it afterwards. So,
which I'm so excited about. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We get to decide.
It's in announcements. Georgie's telling me it's in announcements. Check the pinned comments in announcements. Fill out the questionnaire there, and I will do my best to make an otter party that is themed along the lines of what you guys would like. We are also doing a Jess and KP crossover stream that we hit for 4K, and I can't remember what our 5K. Oh, another cooking stream, a mystery box cooking stream. That's what we're doing for 5K.
Okay.
So all of those things will be forthcoming, but right now we're going to work on that otter party.
Which
theme.
is awesome. And just to let everyone know, for those that are on my channel as well, you can reach Ray on my channel as well and on KP's channel. So if you did donate and you're inquiring about those gifts, she's the gal. She's not with us again today, for those joining us, she's not with us today. She's feeling a little bit under the weather. So we are flying solo without our producer. Of course, that means we started in a very bad way. And
yeah, we were all over the place. It was a disaster.
Second time that she hasn't been here where we tried something new. The last time was Jess was streaming with you and we were trying something new. And now we're trying this new format, so there's no delay. And Ray's just putting us to the test. But yeah.
So funny.
Let's move on to Liz. We've learned a lot about otters, and thanks to KP's experience with that, as we can see with the research, you've been right. Oh, there we go. Anonymous
$10 donation. Thank you very much.
Whoever that was. I love it. I'm getting the double seals here. This is awesome. I mean, double otters. And the majority manatees. Okay, so this is sort of the question. Yeah, it's similar to the other one. This is a bit of a heavy loaded question, so just getting ready for this one. There were dozens of reports in the last months about the declining population in Florida. As a total, there have been about 700 deaths. I remember seeing this on a newsfeed. 700 deaths due a practically non-existent seaweed in their water airways, which causes manatees to search elsewhere for food like branch or lawn, with horrific consequences for the animals. Can you please talk about their very own ecosystem and what should be done in the future to prevent situations like this? I think this will cover broadly any animal with an ecosystem as well.
I mean, yeah. So, manatees, we talked a little bit about it, that they are suffering from a variety of things. I don't know about this specific instance, although it sounds like it was pretty recent, so I should look into that. But basically, they have a specific ecosystem and they really rely on it. They're obviously not like an enormously migratory species. Like you can see, they don't travel long distances. So when they get disruptions in their area, it can be a huge problem to them, especially because, like we discussed, they have to eat 10 to 15% of their body weight in every single day. Which means roughly 7 hours of foraging. And so if you're having to travel distances to find better feeding grounds, that really can cause problems for them. So I imagine things like different types of fishing, like was it bottom dredging?
Yes.
Is like really, really bad for these guys, but also for just anything.
Yes.
So just like disturbing the bottom of the ocean floor is like is a huge problem. So that's probably part of the issue. So they had like an algae in their lungs.
Yeah,
is that what it was saying?
Apparently, apparently non-existent seaweed. Practically non-existent seaweed. So I'm assuming very rare in their water areas, which causes manatees to search elsewhere for
just
food.
the waterways, not their airways.
Sorry, their waterways. The waterways. Sorry.
Okay, I was like in their airways. How did that happen?
Waterways. Yeah. Okay. So it's sorry. It's seaweed in the waterways, but caused over 700 deaths.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that sounds a little bit like red tide too.
Yes.
Is that may be something similar. Beans perished so far this year, already suppressed. And is it red tide associated beans? Do you know?
Squeeze!
Thank you for the $10 donation, and thank you for the follow.
And this is fairly relatively recent. I see the most recent article is from the 19th of May this year. Catastrophic disaster.
Because I do know the red tide is a big problem for them, and that is
Yes.
that is an algae bloom. Um,
Yes.
and the problem with that algae is it chokes the life out of like like the oxygen and all of that stuff out of the water. So it's like enormously damaging.
Hmm.
Um, so that's part of the problem with that. That's what I'm guessing is what this is essentially like a red tide type of situation, which again is thought to be pretty closely tied to human activities,
Yes.
like unbalance in the um yeah in the force, yeah, and it's but in the in just the ecosystem. So
But they do
I
mention
mean,
this that's one of the causes of the deaths, but it doesn't actually seem to specifically mention that this is the reason why those manatees died. Um, Very strange though. It looks like they're still actually doing a bit of research
yeah.
into what actually happened. It was apparently a bit of a shock.
Yeah, so this seems to Beans is like frantically pulling a Reha and like searching on the internet, but it seems like it's actually a lot of like sewage runoff and pesticides, and like we talk about, like all drains lead to the ocean, right? And so anything that you're going to put, even in, oh my gosh, I just posted on my Instagram story this horrifying sort of post about how like cigarette butts are just winding up in the ocean, and they're
Oh
just like
yes,
destroying everything because people are just dropping them down like storm drains or just in the
yeah.
street, and they
It's
just
so
get
easy to
washed and they
do.
go, yeah, and they go out to the sea. And so so all of those things, that's why we have to be so conscious of what we put down the drains, is
Yeah.
they do wind up in the ocean, and they do wind up making an impact even if we can't see them. So so that seems like that's more of what's going on. It's like sort of yeah, it's like choking essentially like causing there to be not enough oxygen for proper things to grow, normal things to grow,
Yes.
and basically like killing everything in the ecosystem. So
And what's annoying about that, I know we don't actually have a proper refuse um, system anyway, but it's just annoying in first world countries where there is a bin literally on the street every couple of centimeters or meters away, and people will still forgo walking to a dustbin and throw it on the street, not realizing that all goes into the drain, which goes into our oceans. It's like it's so far out of mind and thought. But you
yeah.
mentioned about cat litter and all these things we do every day that we think we're not harming is actually quite severe. Some research, apparently this is caused by algae blooms in the lagoon that kill thousands of acres of seagrass that manatees depend on due to the colder winter months that we had suffered. So, yeah,
Okay.
algae bloom. That's one of the
Yeah.
things that they're attributing to this too. But apparently it looks like that. And yeah, as mentioned, yeah, as Beans also said, it's also due to runoff from fertilizers and drain orchards. So it's a couple of things that have just compounded each other and affected these poor little sea potatoes. Um, but yeah, such a change in manatee count. Is a manatee considered a keystone species like the otters, or are they on the other side of the spectrum, so to speak?
Hey, sorry, what?
Are
I was like,
are
my chat's like popping off, and I was like trying to read.
are manatees considered a keystone species, or they?
uh, no, not that I'm aware of.
I think it'd be too
Um,
slow to be a keystone species, to be honest.
I yeah, I mean, being a keystone species is not is not super common. Like there are
Mm.
not a lot of animals that are really classified as a keystone
They have to
species.
be quite
Um
quite special impact on the
yeah,
environment and that.
but that doesn't mean that like they're
Yeah,
not important. I mean, every
absolutely.
animal plays a role, and these guys are obviously, like, by eating that much, I'm sure they're impacting the environment greatly. So you definitely it doesn't really matter. Like everything all plays its role, and is
Absolutely.
very, very important.
Everything's connected.
But I don't think that they're technically classified as a keystone
Yeah.
species.
Like I said, I think they'd be too slow. Shame. And they seem to be more victims of what happens in their habitat than their numbers actually causing a major impact to their habitat, like otters. I mean, we all know they're keystone species. because I learned it from you.
Right. Yeah.
So this is a bit of a question. It would be more interesting to learn a little bit more about manatees in general. Where do they live? We can cover that again. And what looks their natural habitat? Okay, what does their natural habitat look like? I have to reword this. What does their natural habitat look like? As we can see, shallow.
Yeah, so it's obviously
lagoon.
murky waters. Like, and very highly vegetative. And usually usually a lot of we can kind of see here, like there's some mangroves, that type of area. So it's definitely very shallow, like very shallow. I mean, we're talking like what is this? This is literally probably only maybe 10 feet deep, maybe.
Yes.
So extremely shallow coastal regions. They can even be slightly marine, like so mostly these are sort of freshwater areas, but they can also kind of like dabble, if you will, in like in the marine world as well. So they can eat saltwater and freshwater vegetation, but yeah, mostly you're looking at like sort of like estuaries, that type of thing. Like, yeah, coastal wetlands is a great way to put it. Yeah.
Yes, and that's why they get impacted so badly by boats. As you can see, our prime candidate here showing exactly what we're talking about, the little scars on their back. Sea potato. I love how the fish totally in peace with the manatees around. They're like, yeah, it's cool, just another sea potato.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We actually had a very interesting question on chat. Are male manatees involved in calf rearing, or do the females do all of the care?
Just like in most species, the females do everything. So yeah, the males have zero role in the care of calves.
They just us men.
Deadbeat potato dads.
Yeah, they're just there to make a deposit and move to another country, basically.
Deposit.
Yeah, men make the deposit. It's the females that make the investment. So it's like.
But that is also why, when you look at animals, whenever you're doing like research and stuff like that, and specifically, Mary, $20 donation. We are $107 away from $6,000. So whenever you're looking at population studies, usually you only care about the females. Males are like a dime a dozen. Like one male can easily, father like hundreds, depending on which species you're talking about. It could be far more than that. To even like thousands of individuals.
Oh my god!
There it is!
We reached it! Before the end of the AMA and the podcast, we reached our goal.
Thank you so much, Krista. 6,000. Now we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do. Look at this.
Yes.
What are they doing?
Look at them. They're swimming fast.
They're swimming.
Jeez.
Thank you so much, Krista. And if you haven't gotten your Otter Paw rewards, then just message Reha in the Discord, and she will get those to you.
Yes.
That's okay. We don't need to make it an even 6K. We're the more the merrier.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was hoping that we would at least reach the goal by the end of the AMA, and it's like as if this is a suspense movie and about to cut the wire. We're reaching close to the end, and all of a sudden, pulled in with the donations. Well done, everyone. That was amazing. It's like
Thank you, guys. That's super amazing.
Again, but though we can still carry on. So please, guys, it's going to stay open. See, we doing it for Oceans Day tomorrow. The link's on my side as well. It goes directly to KP's campaign. So please.
But it also doesn't go to me in any way. So,
exactly.
Just so we're clear on that. I don't see any of this.
We're using Tilify. So Tilify has a direct relationship with Monterey Bay and a lot of different organizations. We do not see the money at all. It does not go through any of our PayPal accounts. When you're donating, you even get a nice email for taxes. I donated myself, so you actually get an email in return to say that you have donated, and you can actually go view it. So it's all official. Nothing. We're not part of an NGO. Myself. This allows us to do something official and completely legal. And Telefy does all the transaction, which is a blessing, by the way. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
it makes it a lot easier for us.
Oh yes. And then what happens is that people like at the Monterey Bay end up tweeting KP saying thank you with cute little otter gifts because I mean,
that was a pretty cute tweet.
it was. I mean, that's $5,500 that they're gonna get. Oh yes, we forgot to mention that's all for the care and maintenance of the animal. That's all for the care and maintenance of the animal.
Monterey Bay messaged me today, and they said that's going to go straight towards the maintenance and care of their sea otters as well as the other animals under their care. So directly contributing to food costs, enrichment costs, all of that stuff. And yes, all the donations are going to Monterey Bay. That is the charity we are supporting currently. Although we will do other fundraisers in the future that will support other organizations as well. So keep an eye. If you're not in the Discord, !Discord, and you can join there when we keep you guys up to date on all of the things that we are doing. And I think doing charity events is going to be a big part of being in this community.
Yes.
I really enjoy doing them, even though they are very stressful and very very time consuming. But they're very very I think a very very good way to contribute. And even if people can't contribute monetarily, we talk about this all the time. Please do not feel obligated to donate. Just being here, and boosting the views, liking the tweets that we tweet about it, liking the Instagram posts. Like all of your interactions with our content is hugely beneficial to us, even if you can't donate monetarily. So.
And since this will be on Twitch on your side as well, on YouTube, my side, guys, it's not about us trying to share the video because this does really build awareness. I mean, so far, just for Vanaqua and the Manatee, because obviously I'm supporting, just alone for your support on my side, without any monetary involvements that you guys have participated, 10,000 clicks to Vanaqua's website and to Save the Manatee. Just clicks. So that's what sharing does, is that people have actually clicked to go see, what is he supporting? Let me go check. And obviously, that's the best way to support. As KP mentioned, it doesn't have to be a financial transaction. It's just sharing these videos and letting, especially people like KP who are in this industry, go to her channels, support her channels, share her videos. They're the funniest stuff. You and Jess, oh my gosh. Especially Jess with her voiceovers. Oh my word.
I've got a good TikTok I'm gonna put out today about Queen Cat.
Oh yes, you have a TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Before you do that, please post that before the stream is over and the AMA. Post it in our little chat. So the TikTok link. I know I follow you, but I'm not quick enough. I'm like,
it's on the I just put it in Stream Elements, but
okay.
On my chat, but anyway, so what we were discussing was, because we knew, like, JJ and I talked about this before the stream. We were like, we are gonna go so far off the rails. Like, Reha is the only reason that keeps us like in line, and we're already all over the place. But anyway, so when we do research on animals like this, and this is firsthand, like I've been involved in research with like the Steller sea lions and the northern fur seals. There's a reason that we only did the research on the female animals, and it's because they're the only ones that matter, guys. Because females have to put in so much energy into raising their offspring that it is they are the only ones that are statistically significant when it comes to population size if you're dealing with issues like that. So because they have to eat so much for their bodies to even allow them to have a calf. If your body is telling you that food is of a shortage, your body's not going to allow you to become pregnant. Then they have to grow the baby. Not easy. Growing another being inside of you, and then they have to take care of it afterwards. And these calves will sometimes stay with their moms for years in manatees. And so They're getting a lot of nutrition from mom, and obviously that's like a very energy consuming activity. So yes, so the males do not participate in the rearing of the calves. The females are on their own. So girl power. That's what I'm trying to say.
And I think that's the one oh there you can see the wild scars again. But I think you one of the things I do know about the manatee is that apparently it's like 13 months from for them to
Gestation?
yes, God, I always forget that word. Yeah, 13 months, and then they take
that's long
before they have the next obviously because they have to raise it. It's like 2-year gaps in between, so that's almost like over 3 years that a female manatee is not contributing to the population because it has to wait that long. Meanwhile, the dads are going around and having a party because they can go anywhere.
Well, and
13 months.
As we've seen from some of this footage too, you'll often see a larger female swimming with 2 calves, one older than the other. So they'll still stay with them even if they have a second calf. So yeah, you're talking about 4 years potentially of rearing a calf. So
yes.
So it is it's a process, and that's part of the reason why any kind of disturbance or anything like that is can be extremely detrimental to them for sure.
Absolutely. But well, we've made good time. We've actually reached the end of the questions that we've actually seen.
And it I feel like we all learned a lot.
I do.
And I learned a lot about the manatees because I didn't really know a lot about them. They're a marine mammal that I have not actually worked with. The only thing I know about them is that they do chew their food. Like they're like one of the only marine mammals who chew their food, next to everybody's favorite sea otters, who also chew their food.
Oh, but when otters chew the food, that's so cute. Like I can't get enough of watching them. Like they can have it being disgusting, and I'll still be like, oh, look at them. But it's been an amazing. So, Save the Manatee Org is one of the organizations I actually personally support. So hopefully one day, we probably will. I know we tried to do Alaska, everyone, by the way. We will, once they get that in order, we did originally try to do Alaska sea life sensor. So hopefully if they sort that out, we can do that maybe on the next time. But we did Monterey Bay. But maybe one day we can do Save the Manatee. Because we've learned a lot. Look at them. They're so cute. They're so adorable. And they've got that bit of the walrus side of them as well. It's like a mix of all the best.
They do seem like a little bit walrus-like. I can see that.
It's just they don't have the English moustache. Yes, I'm about to make a deal. But yeah, thank you so much for your time on this AMA, and thank you so much for this initiative you did over the weekend. We nailed that 6,000 Rand goal, but I have to say it was all KP.
Stretch goal. Like it was originally supposed to be $3,000,
and it was stretched to and this was just to also make people understand this wasn't something that everyone came up overnight. It had been spoken about for weeks, and I think
there's planning. Reha did a lot.
She did a lot. So I was actually about to say that she did a lot of the planning. So
she's not here for us to say thank you, but
obviously you'll see her.
Let her know.
So yeah, I think I participated in 2 seconds of the stream. But
oh no, it was fun though.
It was so much fun,
and I loved it.
And thank you for playing the little Tazz Talks thing as well. That was not easy to make, by the way, doing that live. But thank you so much.
No, I heard a lot about it. Everybody loved it. So
yeah, and hopefully next time we can do that again. Thanks to Tessa as well for moderating on my side. She's always here and putting up the donation links. We hit our goal. So as
we hit our goal 17 times over.
17 times. So that link will still be available on my channel. Still be a link available on her channel. And yes, you said it'll be ending tomorrow at midnight on your time, PDT. Midnight PDT for the Ocean Conservation Day, I think it was. Yes, Ocean Conservation Day. So tomorrow,
it's World Ocean Day. Yeah.
Yes, World Ocean Day. So please recycle. Don't throw rubbish in the bin that you're not. Don't throw things down your sink tomorrow, especially. And if you have a few cents, donate. And if you do, you better donate. You better donate to save them. Thank you so much, KP. Are you going to be still streaming after this?
Yeah, I'm going to stream for a little bit.
Okay, so then pop on over to KP's stream, please. Wins and Wines. I got it wrong. Can
Close
you
enough.
believe it? Yeah,
Close
close
enough.
enough. Ones and Wins, she's got a YouTube channel, some awesome content on there, and you can go watch a stream. For me, it's ready too late to do anything. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you for joining us. Cheerio.